My father signed a $3.5 million business deal, using my name, and didn't even tell me. For 2 years, I thought I was just a broke, unemployed college grad. Turns out, my name was being used to sign contracts with elite investors. And I only found out when his lawyer accidentally called me instead of him. If this shocked you even a little, make sure you subscribe, like, and share, because this story will twist more than you're ready for. I'm Aria. The daughter he never respected. The daughter he always said was too emotional to handle business. While he mentored my younger brother Nathan to be the golden child, I was the girl he barely acknowledged in meetings. The invisible one. Even when I graduated with top honors in finance, he told me, degrees are cute, Aria. But business is blood. And you don't have mine. That day, I walked out of his office with a cracked heart. But I made myself a silent promise: one day, he'll need me. And he won't even see it coming. For a year, I worked 2 side jobs. At night, I built small finance automation tools. Nothing crazy. Just solving problems people ignored. But I never told anyone what I was up to. I just wanted peace. Until, 3 months ago, I got a voicemail that changed everything. Aria, it's Mr. Lawton. I've reviewed the contract revisions on the Echelon merger, need your signature. By Friday for the $3.5 million to clear. What? Merger? What $3.50 million? I thought it was a mistake. I replayed it 5 times. Then I googled the contract name. My jaw dropped. There it was, my full name listed as a co-owner of a shell company. My father used to close a massive deal. A deal made possible with my forged digital ID, and suddenly it all made sense. The way he dismissed me, the way he suddenly upgraded his lifestyle, the way Nathan once mentioned Dad had backup leverage in case his partner ever backed out. I wanted to scream. I wanted to cry. But I didn't. I took a deep breath and called Mr. Lawton back. What I said next? Even I couldn't believe I had it in me. Mr. Lawton, I said, steadying my voice, I'm going to need a copy of that contract. Immediately. And don't call my father again. This is my legal name you've been using without consent. There was a long pause. Then his voice dropped. Aria, you didn't know? No. I didn't. And now I want every document my name appears on. Or your firm's going to be facing more than just a contract dispute. Within hours, I had 32 pages in my inbox. Signed documents. Corporate filings. Emails between my father and his investors. He built a fake partnership on paper using me as a silent stakeholder, then siphoned the earnings under the guise of family-owned equity. But what he didn't plan for was that I'd be smart enough to see every crack in the game he was playing. I didn't confront him. Not yet. I needed to be smarter. Bigger. And I needed revenge that would sting in front of everyone he tried to impress. So I went silent again, but this time, with a purpose. In the following weeks, I used those same financial tools I had built in my apartment to track every transaction. I followed money trails, identified hidden accounts, and compiled a list of all involved parties, including the ones who had no clue they were part of a fraud ring. That's when I realized my dad wasn't just lying to me. He was lying to the government, to his own investors, and even to Nathan. But karma works best when it's dressed in a business suit. So I reached out to Echelon Capital's internal audit team through a back channel, pretending to be a whistleblower accountant from another firm. I dropped just enough proof to trigger an inquiry. By the time the official letter landed on my dad's desk, his entire board had been looped in. But he still didn't know who leaked it. 2 days later, I got a text from Nathan. Did you hear about Dad's company? Someone reported irregular activity. It's a mess. I just replied, really? Maybe he should have told me about the merger, since my name's on it. And right then, 3 dots appeared. Typing. Then stopped. Then again. Then nothing. That's when I knew he had finally checked the documents himself. The next morning, my phone rang at 6:42 a.m. It was my father. Aria, he said, his voice tight and forced. We need to talk. Now. I didn't respond immediately. I let the silence drag, just long enough for him to feel it. I'm at your place, he added. Open the door. When I did, he didn't look like the man who once said I'd never belong in business. He looked panicked. Sweating in a suit that was always too expensive for honesty. He stepped in like he owned the place, typical, but this time, he wasn't. In control, I can explain everything, he started. You forged my signature, I cut him off. That's a felony. Shall I keep listening or should I call the SEC first? He froze. The ego that ruled boardrooms couldn't survive this tiny apartment. You weren't supposed to find out. It was just a temporary setup. I meant to cut you in once everything. Stabilized. Oh, so now I'm good enough to be part of your empire? I laughed. Tell me, Dad, how much did you pocket before I became useful again? He tried to play the father card. I did it for the family. For us. No, you did it for power. And you used my silence to buy it. That's when I gave him the envelope inside. A full breakdown of the violations, forged records, and wire transfers, all marked with dates and account numbers. And at the bottom, my terms, I'll stay quiet if you sign over 60% of the merger's equity to me, publicly, and step down as CEO by Friday. Otherwise, I walk into Echelon Capital's compliance office Monday morning. He stared at the papers like they were laced with poison. You're bluffing. I smiled. Check your email. The board already has a copy. His hands shook as he grabbed his phone. He clicked. Scrolled. Froze. Then for the first time in my life, my father looked afraid of me. He sat down on my couch without saying a word. The man who used to tower over me during dinner lectures about real business now looked like a toddler trying to solve a puzzle too big for his brain. You blindsided me, he muttered, kind of like how you blindsided me with forged documents and a fake company. I said, sipping my coffee like it was just another Tuesday. You taught me something, Dad. Stay quiet, stay underestimated, and strike when no one sees it coming. By noon, word had already started spreading inside the company. A sudden emergency. Board meeting was scheduled. Some thought it was a hostile takeover. Others thought it was legal trouble. The truth? It was both, but the real bomb dropped during the official press conference 2 days later. My father stood there, forced to smile, his voice trembling as he read the statement I had written myself. Effective immediately, I will be stepping down as CEO of Marlowe Holdings. Leadership will transfer to Aria Marlowe, who has been a foundational, though silent, partner in recent operations. I stood beside him, dressed in the same color suit he once said made me look too aggressive for a woman. Cameras clicked. Flashes went off. One reporter shouted, Miss Marlowe, how does it feel to take over the company your father built? I leaned into the mic. Correction. I'm not taking over the company he built. I'm finally taking credit for the one he stole from me. The room went silent. Then someone clapped. Then more. Nathan stood in the back, pale, watching it all unfold. Later that evening, he called me. Aria, were you really involved this whole time? I paused. Then replied, no. I just got smart when you all got greedy. I hung up. I didn't owe them explanations anymore, but the real twist? This was only phase 1.3 weeks later, I walked into my father's old office, now mine. The nameplate on the door read, Aria Marlowe, CEO. I didn't smile. I didn't gloat. I had work to do. And revenge? It tastes even better when served from a leather chair in a corner office with a skyline view. But what no one knew was that I had only revealed a piece of what I discovered. While digging through the fake shell companies my father created, I found 3 offshore accounts registered under Nathan's name, and a 4th under my late mother's trust, wiped clean, just 2 weeks after her funeral. That was the day I realized my father's betrayal went far deeper than business. He had erased my mother's legacy, hidden the money she left for me, and funneled it all into a project he called the future of Marlowe Men. He didn't just steal my name, he tried to delete me from our family history. So I hired a forensic accountant. Quietly, every dollar my mother had left behind, every penny rerouted through fake trusts and fake heirs, was traced back to one man. My father. And I wasn't done yet. At the next board meeting, I unveiled a new campaign, the Legacy Fund. A scholarship program named after my mother, funding women in finance from underrepresented communities, funded entirely by the assets I reclaimed from my father's secret accounts. When I announced it, the room erupted in applause, investors were thrilled, media outlets praised it as visionary. And for the first time in decades, our stock hit an all-time high. But that wasn't the win I savored. The real moment came at a charity gala. A month later, Nathan approached me at the bar. You really did it, he said, eyes narrowed. Took everything. No, I replied calmly. I took back what was always mine. You just never thought I was watching. He scoffed, tried to laugh, but there was nothing left to say. Even he knew the truth now. The sister he used to mock in meetings was now the reason he had a seat at the table at all. My father, he quietly moved to Arizona, for his health. No business. No headlines. Just silence. As for me, I didn't just win back my name. I rebuilt it into a brand of power, precision, and purpose. They called me too emotional, too soft, not cut out for this world. Now, Forbes calls me the silent shark, the woman who flipped a legacy built on lies into an empire of truth, and every time I pass that nameplate, I smile, not because I got revenge, but because I never needed to scream to make them hear me. I just needed to rise.